I wasn't able to win that same way because she started to play more aggressive, go for her shots a little bit more. So I wasn't too disappointed in myself. I just wish I made the adjustment a little bit quicker. Maybe it would have saved a little bit of future gray hairs or something.
Well, listen, you got out in straight sets, which was great. Second week in Australia, semis in the middle.
Nobody saw this coming. Coco Gauff, world number 4, one of the most dominant forces in women's tennis right now, just publicly called 19-year-old Eala the best player at Indian Wells. And she said it after losing to her in the 3rd round. The tennis world is still processing it. So let's break down exactly what went down. If you watched this match live, you know the opening looked completely normal. Gauff took the first 2 games of the opening set, looked composed, looked in control, exactly what you'd expect from someone ranked that high, especially considering she'd beaten Eala pretty convincingly just 2 weeks before. Everybody assumed this was heading in one direction, then everything flipped slowly but surely. Eala started finding her rhythm. The slow court conditions that might have disrupted a lesser player, she adapted to them almost effortlessly. And the longer the match went, the more dangerous she became. Gauff couldn't hold her off. Every time it looked like she was steadying the ship, Eala came back with something better, a sharper angle, a faster read on the rally, just cleaner tennis all around. It stopped feeling like an upset and started feeling inevitable. The first set scoreline said it all, 6-2 to Eala. Gauff had only won those opening 2 games. From that point on, it was a complete takeover. Fans in the crowd, analysts watching from home, even the most casual viewers could see they were watching something special. This wasn't just a young player getting lucky. This was a statement. What makes Eala's game so compelling is the variety. She's not a one-trick player. She'll drop a crafty short ball when you're expecting pace, she'll redirect a rally in a split second, and her fitness means she never lets the intensity drop. For tennis fans who love watching the next generation break through, this was one of those moments you remember. Then the second set arrived, and Eala picked up exactly where she left off, breaking quickly and keeping that pressure on. But the match ended in a way nobody wanted. Gauff was forced to retire through injury, and while Eala was clearly on course to win, the victory felt bittersweet. In her press conference afterward, Eala didn't celebrate. She spoke with real, genuine concern about Gauff's health. She made it plain, this wasn't the win she was looking for. She wanted to earn it on the court, the full distance. That level of class from a 19-year-old, in that kind of moment, says just as much about her character as her tennis did.
Yeah, so back to your question, I really didn't want to win this way, but this is still a really big moment for me to be able to play on Stadium 1 of Indian Wells and against such a great competitor. I'm really grateful to be here and I'm super happy. Yeah.
What struck people just as much as the result itself was how Eala handled the aftermath. This was arguably the biggest win of her career, a moment most young athletes dream about. And yet, standing in front of the cameras, she wasn't basking in it. Her first instinct was to ask about Gauff, to express genuine worry for someone she'd just beaten. That's not something you can fake, and it didn't go unnoticed. Around the world, fans who maybe hadn't heard of Eala before that day suddenly had a reason to root for her, not just because of how she plays, but because of who she is. But let's make sure the sportsmanship doesn't overshadow the sheer scale of what she's actually doing on the court right now. Because the numbers are jaw-dropping. 3 top 10 wins. She hasn't even broken into the top 20 yet. Let that sink in for a second. Eala is out here beating some of the best players on the planet, while the rankings haven't even begun to reflect how good she already is. If she goes on to win this entire tournament, the jump she'll make on the rankings chart is going to be dramatic. We're potentially watching a career-defining run happen in real time, and the buzz around her isn't just coming from fans on social media. The people who know tennis best are saying the same thing. Former American pro Sam Querrey made a bold call before the tournament even started. He predicted that Eala would surpass both Gauff and Aryna Sabalenka in the not-too-distant future, a statement that raised a few eyebrows at the time. After this week though, it's a lot harder to push back on. Her confidence is visibly growing with every match. You can see it in the way she carries herself between points, the way she hunts for winners when the pressure is highest. Indian Wells has given Eala a stage, and she has absolutely owned it.
Biggest draw in women's tennis right now.
Yes.
Is she bigger than Sabalenka? Is she bigger than Coco?
Dude, it's crazy. She's having the same effect that Fonseca was having, like, on the men's side last year in Miami.
It's like Fonseca, but I think it's bigger than Fonseca.
It is. Yeah, it is.
Like, the Doha, like, crowds were insane for her.
And Querrey didn't stop at the tennis itself. He also pointed to something bigger, the kind of attention Eala is pulling toward the sport as a whole. Because here's a stat that genuinely stops you in your tracks. In her very first match at Indian Wells, Eala drove over $5 million in ticket sales, a brand new attendance record for a player who, again, isn't even inside the top 20 yet. that doesn't just happen. That's not a coincidence or a lucky surge in interest. That's a sign that people want to watch her, that she has the kind of magnetism that transcends rankings and statistics. The casual fan, the first-time tennis viewer, the person who doesn't follow the tour closely, they're all showing up for Eala. And that is genuinely rare. She's not just a promising young athlete climbing the ladder anymore. She's become a draw, a name that sells seats and fills arenas. The kind of player the sport builds its marketing around. At 19 years old, the established stars have noticed too. Gauff, Sabalenka, Pegula, these are players at the very top of the game, and they're all watching what Eala is doing with serious attention. Because when someone comes along who can beat top 10 players and bring an entirely new audience into the sport at the same time, that's not just a rising contender. That's a game changer.
Things in the world.
Yeah, correct. She's definitely one to watch, obviously because she's so good, but just for the atmosphere. You want to tune into her matches just to see what it's like on the court.
There's got to be like a little jealousy maybe from some of the women. That girl's coming in, she's not top 10, biggest star in the world.
And perhaps the most telling endorsement of all didn't come from an analyst or a pundit. It came from Gauff herself. In her own words, Eala is the best player at Indian Wells right now. Not a qualifier, not a "she played well today." A flat-out acknowledgement from the world number 4. Gauff broke down exactly why too, which made it even more compelling. She pointed to the slow courts at Indian Wells as a perfect match for Eala's game, and explained that Eala didn't just tolerate those conditions, she weaponized them. The ability to shift quickly from one side of the court to the other, to cover ground faster than her opponent, can exploit it. That's not something you can coach overnight. That's elite athleticism combined with an instinct for the game that very few players at any level possess. Gauff also called out something that fans watching at home had already picked up on: those crafty, unexpected shots Eala pulls out at the biggest moments. The ones that seem almost casual in their execution, but are devastatingly precise. And what makes them even more dangerous is what comes right after. Eala is already back in position before her opponent has even reacted. That combination of creativity and recovery is what separates good players from truly special ones. When the player you just beat is that detailed and that generous in her praise, you know it wasn't just a good day at the office. You know you witnessed something real.
Physical here because the courts are so slow and the points are a little bit longer, and it's hard for me to hit a winner, and it's probably hard for them to hit a winner. So it's just, being prepared to play a lot of awkward shots, a lot of long points.
Gauff's words carry real weight here, because she isn't someone who throws around compliments lightly. She's been competing at the highest level for years. She knows exactly what it takes to win at this stage, and she's now openly saying that Eala has everything needed to become a future star. That kind of recognition from a peer of Gauff's caliber means more than any ranking number ever could, and Gauff isn't alone. Jessica Pegula, another player who knows what it feels like to compete in big moments, opened up about her own experience sharing a court with Eala. She said the atmosphere was unlike anything she'd felt in a long time. The crowd was massive, the energy was almost overwhelming, and from the very first point Pegula knew she wasn't just playing a tennis match, she was part of something bigger. Her word for it? Insane. And coming from a seasoned professional who has played in Grand Slams and major finals, that's not a word she uses lightly, yet that's the effect Eala is having on Indian Wells right now. Every match feels like an event. Every court she walks onto becomes the place to be. And crucially, her game is backing it all up. The crowds aren't just showing up on hype. They're staying because what they're watching on the court is genuinely breathtaking. Now consider what's still on the table. If Eala wins this tournament, she won't just be adding another trophy to an already stunning week. She would become the first player in history to win Indian Wells on their debut appearance. No one has ever done it before. That's the kind of record that follows a career forever. The kind of footnote that gets mentioned every single time her name comes up for the rest of her professional life. A win here wouldn't just be a milestone. It would be a seismic moment for women's tennis. Her ranking would surge, her profile would explode globally, and any remaining debate about whether she belongs among the elite would be settled once and for all. Gauff said it. Pegula felt it. $5 million worth of fans showed up for it. And every match at Indian Wells is making it harder to argue against it. Eala might just be the most exciting player in women's tennis right now. At 19 years old, with this kind of trajectory, the ceiling genuinely feels limitless. This is only the beginning. And if you're not watching yet, you really should be. ESO. Do you think Eala can go all the way and make history at Indian Wells? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear where you stand on this. If you enjoyed the video, hit like and subscribe so you never miss an update. We'll be back with more as this incredible tournament continues to unfold.